Hi, welcome to week 2, video 3. Vivi's here with me today. She's going to help, right, Peanut? So I did take a little break over the holidays, and I hope if you're watching this real time, you had amazing holidays too. We're not quite through them with the New Year's, but it's kind of fun because we're going to be starting the actual practices of the book right around New Year's. So that's fun and exciting. Always fun to start new practices at the New Year. Before we get into talking about things today, she's singing Baby Beluga. I wanted to suggest something that's actually really needed for me and something that I frequently forget to do, and that's just to have water during the day. And I've noticed recently, she's out, that I'm feeling really dehydrated. The air is pretty dry where we are, and my lips are really chapped, and I'm just feeling like I need a lot more water. So that's something I'm going to be starting today, is just carrying a water bottle around with me and making sure I get enough hydration. So that will help everything, and I'd love to suggest that you start that too. So, oh my gosh, I'm really excited to get into the actual practices of the book, which we're going to be starting tomorrow. And the first practice, I hope this isn't a spoiler, is meditation. So we're going to this is so fun for me because I had such a strong meditation practice before I had Vivian, and actually I was pretty much single. So it was very easy to incorporate a meditation practice into my life. I got up and I meditated, and bam. Now it's a lot more challenging as a new mom, so I'm really excited to get into kind of the how of that and what shows up and what works for me in my life, and to explore more of that and for you to find what works in your life too. So I wanted to, that's tomorrow. We're going to get into that. And today I kind of want to do like a little like pre-test, not test, but I want to introduce it by telling you that Kyle and I watched the movie Groundhog Day the other day, and it's something I've never seen. I'm probably the only person in the United States that's never seen that movie a million times. It's not my coffee. And we watched it, and it was so wonderful. And what we loved so much about it, Kyle's seen it a billion times, but really kind of re-experienced it, and we enjoyed it so much because what really the point is that Bill Murray can't live his life, can't continue his life until he's learned these lessons, basically. And the lessons they're not really lessons, actually. It's until he stops trying to control his life. And that control comes in different ways, like having a lot of money, having women, having love and appreciation. What else? Oh, and then when either those things become boring or he can't get them anymore, then he just tries to stop the pain, control life by stopping the pain, by killing himself over and over. And then, of course, he wakes up the next morning and does it again. And it's not until he starts living his life in a way where he's doing what he enjoys just because he enjoys it, and what he loves just because he loves it, and really humbly just appreciating each day, that he's able then to move on. And I really feel like that's where we actually get to live our lives too, when we have that humble appreciation just in the moment and are not doing a lot of control tactics or any control tactics, and just letting life flow and live us rather than trying to just wrestle it into how we want it to be. And I just thought that was so beautiful and such a wonderful introduction to our meditation practice that we're going to be looking at and starting tomorrow. And what I'd like to suggest today is that you take a very short time, like 5 minutes. Just find 5 minutes in your day and do a meditation. I remember the very first time I meditated. I actually remember what chair I was sitting in, and I remember part of what I was wearing, and I remember it was horrible. Like, it was awful. I didn't think I could make it through the 5 minutes. And And it was really rough for me. So if this is your first time ever meditating, expect it to be weird and feel endless, even for 5 minutes. But I'm so excited to start this with you because this is one of the most life-changing practices for me, which is why it is chapter 1. So with that in mind, please take 5 minutes and just sit with your eyes closed. If you want to sit in a chair, if you want to sit on the floor, whatever you want to do, or lay down. Laying down is not great for me. I tend to fall asleep, or my thoughts tend to run away with me. And what I've noticed as a new mom is because I'm out of my regular meditation practice, it's very easy for me to be run by my thoughts, and it's very difficult for me to do meditation and stay focused for even a short amount of time again. So this is really new for me and exciting for me to build on that and love where I am and know that my attention has been required by other things, and my hormones have been all over the place like yours have been if you've given birth and been pregnant recently. And that for me, Vivian is 17 months old, and that the hormone part is still impacting me for sure. And there's also that your brain just changes, you know, like my brain did a lot of thinking ahead, like, and I really think this is biologically engineered for the safety of our babies, because if we don't look ahead and see any danger that could happen to them, then, you know, our babies don't survive. So our brains are designed to be like, okay, this could, oh, if I put her here, she could fall, right? So our brains as new moms are taken up by so many things, not just the new tasks and responsibilities and routines of motherhood, but also the brain changes that kind of happen and the thinking patterns that change. So a lot of that is starting to kind of cool down for me, and I'm able to kind of see above the clouds a little bit now, and I'm really ready to start implementing again a real practice of meditation, because I find that to be so incredibly calming, great for my health, and most of all, just help me to remember that it's not about controlling things, it's about watching my thoughts and then really being in the moment. So we'll talk so much more about this, and this isn't something that we're going to do, my heater just went on, for 1 week and then forget about it. All these practices are going to build on each other. So we're going to start our meditation practice tomorrow, and we're going to continue it. Hopefully you're going to continue it for years or for the rest of your life. I'm hoping that for me, but we're at least going to do it till the end of the series. So it's not a one-shot thing. It's going to continue to grow and deepen for us as we go through the practices in this book. And I'm really, really, really happy to be starting on this. It's been very mishmash and kind of a survival meditation for me up until now. So I'm going to be starting with you guys and restarting my practice and finding out, like I said, how that will work for me in this new life. So take the 5 minutes, just watch what your brain does, and then I'd like for you to write it down. If you want to get a notebook, in the book I suggest a couple of notebooks if you want to read and actually do those things, but at least just get a piece of paper or a notebook, and just after the 5 minutes of meditation, set yourself a timer, and then she's talking to me. And after the 5 minutes is done, just kind of jot down what you experienced. And it may just be like one word, chaos. Or what I like to do, what I did before I wrote my book, was to write down what my brain was doing. And there were really only a few things that my brain did. It was singing, it was making a list, it was trying to solve a problem, it was anticipating, it was thinking about something in the past, blah, blah, blah. So it's nice to be able to start to observe, because you can get really used to those things and they don't throw you for a loop. Like, oh, that's my brain just going into the future. Or that's my brain, oh, it's reviewing something in the past again. And then it's easy to come back to what's going on right now, which is my heater's blowing on my head. So yeah, do the 5 minutes of meditation. As I started to say, sitting meditation is much more powerful for me than laying down. And I'll talk more about that tomorrow. Kind of talk about the hows of meditation. If you want to follow those, you're obviously, maybe you already have a really deep practice that you do, and by all means, do what works for you. I'm going to offer what works for me, and we'll talk a lot about that tomorrow. So get your water. If you'd like to watch Groundhog Day, it was really, really inspiring and fits with this, I forgot to say, because this is what our minds do in our lives, right? What Bill Murray was going through. They try to control our circumstances and get them how we want them. And then, of course, if that does happen, then a different problem shows up in our brain, and we try to get that, because the brain is a problem-solving mechanism, and that's what it does. So I'd love for you to watch what your brain does, see if it does a Bill Murray, which is, trying to feel a certain way, all of those things that I suggested before that were kind of themes in that movie. We're trying to stop pain, trying to get something, or stop, right? Stop something we don't like, or get something we want, is basically what the ego does. So watch that for 5 minutes and see if anything comes up for you. See if that happens and how that feels. So I'm going to go get Vivian. I don't know what she's doing, and I'll see you tomorrow. We'll go into chapter 1, practice 1, meditation, and if you get a chance, read the chapter before tomorrow, and that way you'll have a much fuller experience of it. If you don't have a chance, you've got the week to read it, and but I do suggest reading it beforehand. Okay, talk to you guys soon. Bye.